Tell me why you've decided not to protest. 3 years ago, you won this. Boeing successfully protested. The thought had to have crossed your mind.
Well, of course, we always think about these things. But look, we started this thing with one idea in mind. We want our capabilities to be brought to bear to meet the real needs of the warfighter, the U.S. Air Force. In this case, under the rules that were established by the procurement, we lost. And extending this procurement by another 3 months in order to simply say that we asked all the questions is not in our book.
As you looked at this, was there grounds for protest here? You talked specifically about price at your news conference.
Well, the issue, of course, is that they won by a big price. And you look there to say, okay, if it's a firm fixed price contract, they bid $2 billion lower than we do. And if there's nothing in there that can change the outcome by more than $2 billion, we're not going to waste our money, and we're certainly not going to sacrifice the interest of the United States Air Force.
Do you think you may have lost this battle but won the larger fight, if you will, in the sense that you all are now being considered as a top tier, as Mr. O'Keefe, the CEO, mentioned here, a top tier supplier potentially to the U.S. defense industry here in the United States?
Well, the answer to that's absolutely yes. They know what we've done, and our proposal was very, very competitive in the sense of providing for all the capabilities the Air Force wanted, and we conducted ourselves in a responsible, professional way that satisfied their needs. Our decision today is another responsible, professional decision.
What does this mean for your business going forward in the United States? This is obviously as a blow. This would have given you a big toehold, big foothold here in the United States. What happens next for you all here?
Well, we've got a lot of things going on. This was a big contract for us, but we're already a prime contractor for the Army, as you and I think have talked about. We've got lots of capabilities and products that are going into the U.S. Armed Forces and to the Homeland Security Department. So we've got a lot of room to run here. But again, the foundation is we want to provide our capabilities to meet the real needs of the U.S. government.
Listening to you at this news conference, it sounds like you are not convinced Boeing's going to be able to deliver on this contract at this price.
Well, I think it's fundamentally important in this kind of an acquisition that the commitments be met, because if they're not, then the decision was made on a false basis. So Boeing has to both meet the schedule and the capabilities that they've committed to the Air Force to do. And if they do, then the Air Force has got what they want. But the risk to the warfighter is that they don't. Boeing bears the risk of financial penalties if they don't perform. But beyond that, if in 2020 the Air Force doesn't have all the new tankers it was supposed to have, then who is bearing the burden? It's the men and women of the Air Force, and that's what I'd be concerned about. So there has to be a mechanism for holding them to meeting all of their commitments. If they do, they've won fair and square.
There's been a lot of talk about politics with this contract. This has been a 10-year battle for the Pentagon to get this done. At the end of the day, you lost this fight. But do you believe you all were treated fairly in the sense that EADS, the parent company, being a European company, versus Boeing, an American company, did that enter into this?
Well, we decided to be, after our partners Northrop decided they didn't want to bid, to become the prime offerer on this program a year ago. When that opportunity came up and we made the decision that we would in fact compete, the rules were clear. I'll just tell you, the rules have been followed. So I can't complain on that basis. And if Boeing decides that they want to submit a proposal and deliver on a contract that's beneath their costs, then that's kind of up to them. And I'll tell you that the American taxpayer, over the 10 years that we've been in this competition or watching it, have a lower price by $16 billion than they originally would have paid.
Mr. Crosby, thank you for the time. Appreciate you joining us. Ralph Crosby, the chairman of EADS North America, joining us here in Washington.